Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 6:55 tonight. Cal football gets another shot at being on the national stage as an all-time great head coach and his team roll into Berkeley. Bill Belichick and North Carolina will play the Cal Bears at Memorial Stadium tonight at 7:30. It'll be the first time these two programs meet as an ACC conference opponent. Bill Belichick is looking for an exit or a buyout, but he called the rumors categorically false. The Golden Bears head coach Justin Wilcox is focused on being prepared for the Tar Heels. Now, Cal is 9.5-point favorites against North Carolina. Well, more than 20 states are now suing the EPA over canceling the $7 billion solar grant program. The program was meant to make solar power accessible to almost 1 million low-income households. The program, Solar for All, was established in 2022 under the Inflation Reduction Act. The EPA has been aggressive in trying to take back any clean energy funding approved under the Biden administration. A group of nonprofit groups and solar installers also filed a similar lawsuit earlier this month. Well, Verve Coffee Roasters agreed to pay almost $200,000 to settle a significant labor dispute in San Francisco. The settlement follows a city investigation to determine the company based in Santa Cruz violated the health care security ordinance for a 3-year period. Verve failed to make the required health care expenditures for employees at its Market Street Cafe. The total payment will be distributed as back pay to 33 current and former employees. Well, police in San Leandro are investigating what they're calling a possible hate crime after a homeowner's pride flag was intentionally set on fire. Take a look. Home surveillance video shows a man walking up to the garage door, setting the flag on fire. The video shows the suspect then walking away, only stopping for a moment to watch the flag burn. Luckily, the flames went out on their own, but not before leaving visible burn marks on the home. The couple inside told us they're deeply shaken and disappointed by what happened.
Even with the sensor lights going off, didn't have a regard for it and still did it. So the mission was clear. It was to go ahead and destroy property and make us fearful and be hurtful.
Right now, police in San Leandro are actively trying to figure out if this was an isolated incident. They're urging anybody who has extra surveillance video or who may recognize that man to call investigators. Time is 6:58. The police also trying to figure out who's been throwing big rocks through windows of homes and cars in North Oakland. In the past few weeks, neighbors started sharing security video with each other, showing this person throwing the rocks. We heard from more than a half-dozen neighbors who some say they were hit up to 6 times in the past year. One homeowner says his house was most recently hit yesterday morning, a rock the size of a big melon. People in the neighborhood are worried someone's going to be hurt.
It was literally right where I sit in our living room where the rock went through and just splattered glass all over the place. So it could have easily been myself, my daughter, who was sitting right there.
Some of the residents say they spent thousands of dollars on repeated repairs at their homes. The neighborhood's now putting up flyers warning of these attacks. Oakland police say they're investigating, but for now they can't confirm whether these cases are related.
A nationwide protest against President Trump. What tomorrow's No King's Day is expected to look like here in the Bay Area and beyond. Then more controversy for Salesforce after reports the tech giant's offering to help the federal government multiply the number of ICE agents. Then a police pursuit in the East Bay with a driver going the wrong way on the freeway. What officers say they found after the chase ended in a dramatic crash.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning. We're so glad you're here. I'm Gaskia Mikaelian.
And good morning. I'm Dave Clark. It's Friday. It's October 17th. I'm assuming you're glad it's Friday.
I'm super glad that it's warming up a little bit.
That sounds good.
On for the past 3 days.
Yeah, well, Steve's talking about warmer temperatures.
A little bit today and tomorrow. Yeah. It looks nice in the next 3 days there. We do have mainly clear skies. There's a teeny bit of fog. We had a lot more yesterday. I have no idea where this is, but there is a little puff of a breeze. Santa Cruz? Yeah, I guess so. By the way, Native Santa Cruz on X Twitter took a great photo of the green flash. If you don't know what that is, I reposted it. It was really cool. Jen Null also over towards Half Moon Bay, and Native Santa Cruz put out good pictures, and they put out the green flash once in a while. Native Santa Cruz picked it up yesterday. All right, we are looking for temperatures that are in the 40s to start. 46 is popular. Santa Rosa's in there, Livermore, Palo Alto, and San Jose at 47. So 42 to 52 to cover, although Petaluma Airport has dipped to 41, but most are around 43, 44, 45. We'll get 60s and 70s. I think we'll hit an 80 tomorrow. So a warmer few days, probably all the way into Sunday, but even early next week looks good. Next change is on the menu for probably around 26, 27. So until then, it's a quiet pattern. That little low there off of Southern California will impact them probably Tuesday, but not us. So California dreaming weather looks nice, a little cool, sunny, mostly sunny. It's nice. Temperatures bumping up. They've been so far below. Today they'll be pretty close to it. Well, will I be dancing in the street on this morning commute, or is there something to stop my progress?
You know, not exactly dancing in the street, but I'd say it's a little better than normal there, Steve, at the Bay Bridge. Let's go right to our camera here. You can see it's backed up to the maze, but nothing more. We had a crash northbound 880 at High Street, and that cleared up rather quickly. There's a little slowing past the scene, but the slowdown was huge. It's getting better by the moment now that the lanes are open. And on the peninsula, we're off to a good start. 7:02, let's get back to the headlines.
Thank you, Sal. Protests are planned across the country and here in the Bay Area this weekend. This map shows what's happening here at home amid the 2,700 No Kings protests planned nationwide.
Now, these demonstrations are being held as people show their frustration with the Trump administration over many different issues. KTVU's Devin Truby is with us now to tell us how the Bay Area will be affected. Good morning, Devin.
Good morning. That's right. We are expecting big crowds on Saturday across the Bay Area in multiple city locations. I'm here at Walnut Creek, where the demonstration will happen at Broadway Plaza, which is currently behind me. We will also see events happening at places from Sausalito, San Francisco, all the way down to Fremont, Hayward, Union City, across the Bay Area. Organizers say that they're protesting the government shutdown, to the Trump administration deployment of the National Guard, and cuts to health care. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the movement. The protests were orchestrated by the 50-51 movement with a goal of 50 protests in 50 states, one movement, which was on February 5th of this year. Since then, there's also been No Kings on President's Day's protest and No Kings protest in June.
Every single time we fill these streets, we are telling this regime what it can and cannot do. And we told them in June that they cannot levy war on this country, and we're going to tell them on Saturday that they need to be removed from the White House.
Well, go ahead and take a look at your screen. We've got a map showing you all of the demonstrations. If you are wanting to get involved, we have a full list on our website, KTVU.com, or if you're potentially looking to avoid the area, you can also go ahead and reference that list. It was estimated that 5 million Americans participated in June, and Saturday's event will draw even more people. Now, the mid-June No Kings protest was in response to President Trump's 79th birthday, but also the U.S. Military Army's birthday celebration as well. Reporting live in Walnut Creek, Devin Truby, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Devin, thank you. This morning, there is new controversy surrounding the Salesforce CEO as the company wraps up its annual tech conference in San Francisco. The New York Times reports Mark Benioff is offering the federal government help to quickly hire thousands of immigration enforcement agents. Our James Torres has been live in the city all week. He is here this morning with the latest on this controversy. James.
Gossip, well, you can still see the remnants of Dreamforce. The conference is pretty much over at this point, but Howard Street still has all the setup up as the breakdown continues. That'll go well into the weekend. But the conversation surrounding some of the comments left behind from CEO Mark Benioff, that is still remaining after the New York Times put out a report last night showing some screenshots between Salesforce and the federal government suggesting that Salesforce could offer AI tools that would help the federal government execute its mass deportation plans. Now, according to that New York Times article, Salesforce did not refute the authenticity of some of the documents it was asked about, but said it couldn't comment on any pending contracts. This, of course, the latest in a string of headlines coming out of this week's Dreamforce conference. This week, a longtime Salesforce Foundation board member, Ron Conway, resigned from his post, saying his values no longer aligned with Benioff. And even before the conference started, Benioff landed in hot water after saying he would support National Guard troops in San Francisco. We spoke to a political science expert this morning, weighing in on how Benioff is pitching AI and ICE enforcement.
What Salesforce offers is very sophisticated software so that you can do data management, so that it can help you in, I guess, in recruiting officers. It can help you in pulling together information that might help to decide where to target your operations.
The federal government and the military are some of Salesforce's largest clients, so it's not unusual for Salesforce to work with an agency like ICE. It's done that with past administrations. But those experts say offering to help hire more people seems like a new development. Salesforce, not the only Bay Area company publicly offering to work closely with the Trump administration. The White House has recently held summits with companies like OpenAI, Google, Oracle, Apple, and Meta. We are live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you. New this morning, former Golden State Warriors general manager Bob Myers is returning to a full-time sports management role. Myers has been named president of Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment. The move brings him back into a leadership role after a brief stint as an NBA analyst for ESPN. He'll oversee business and sports operations for several of the company's properties, including the Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Devils. Myers was the architect of 4 NBA championships in the 12 seasons he spent with the Warriors.
Our time now 7:07, happening today. Nurses will rally outside of UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. They'll demand that recent layoff notices be rescinded. Union organizers say layoff notices were received last week. During the summer, nurses at Children's Hospital were fully transitioned into the University of California system. The union says UC promised to expand services at the facility and assured the nurses that no layoffs would result because of that transition. Now, we've tried to contact UCSF to get a comment. So far, we've not heard back.
2 people were arrested after a CHP pursuit in the East Bay. The CHP says it all started around 7:20 last night as officers tried to stop a car with plates that belonged to another vehicle. You are seeing part of that chase now. At one point, the car was going the wrong way on 880 before stopping off International Boulevard in Oakland's San Antonio neighborhood. The armed driver left the car and was caught a few blocks away. A woman in the car, we're told, ran across lanes of 880 before she was caught on Embarcadero. Police say she was holding bags filled with burglary tools. Next door, police in Berkeley say they think 6 restaurant burglaries in 2 different areas of the city are related. Break-ins began around 4 o'clock Thursday morning. 3 restaurants near the Durant Food Court in Southside Berkeley were hit. Then an hour later, 3 more restaurants were broken into on University Avenue near Shattuck. In at least 2 of the cases, the thieves stole cash registers.
I'm so upset. I came here happy to work, and now I'm so upset, exhausted, tired, sick of that.
When I came here, everything, all the windows from the door was broken. Being around here, I've been working in some other places, so we never saw something like this. This is totally new.
Berkeley police detectives say they hope to use surveillance cameras and witness cell phone video to find the thieves.
Time is 7:09, and right now we do see some slow traffic, although it is lighter than usual. If you have to go into San Francisco, we have a couple of things that are working in your favor. First of all, it's Friday, and on Fridays sometimes we have lighter commutes, but also Dreamforce is over. However, the street's not open yet, so the street there isn't open, or a lot of those streets are still closed at Moscone Center. Howard Street between 3rd and 4th is the main one there, but it will open this weekend, and by next week we should have a better commute. This is a look at the Richmond Bridge approach. You can see that traffic is slow from about, and by the way, it is slow from about Harbor Way. Checked in with SFO, Oakland and San Jose. If you're taking a flight out of town this weekend, right now there are no significant delays reported on the airlines. 7:09, let's go back to the desk.
Sal, thank you. A Bay Area fall staple for decades has a new home. We'll take a look at turnout for the new location outside Walnut Creek and the debate over whether it's been moved too far.
Jacoby & Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby & Myers, we know the stakes: your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 7:13. Here's some of the top stories we're following for you this morning. President Trump today will meet with Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky at the White House. President Trump's trying to work out a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. He also plans to hold his second summit meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the next few weeks in Hungary. President Trump also announced a deal that will cut the price of in vitro fertilization treatments. The White House says that Merck, a German pharmaceutical company, agreed to cut the price of its IVF drugs by 84%. In exchange, Merck will avoid tariffs on all of the other medication that the company produces and exports here to the U.S. The drug discount will save families about $2,200 per IVF cycle. And former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton surrendered this morning to federal authorities on charges of mishandling classified documents. A federal grand jury indicted Bolton for allegedly keeping top secret documents at his home. Prosecutors claim the classified information was exposed when his email was hacked. In a statement, John Bolton said he is, quote, the latest target in weaponizing the Justice Department to charge President Trump's enemies.
Now to what's been a fall staple in Walnut Creek for over 80 years, but this year the Walnut Festival is not being held in its namesake city of Walnut Creek. Katie's Andre Sr. here to tell us why. Good morning, Andre.
Good morning to you, Garcia. The Walnut Festival is normally held at Heather Farm Park in Walnut Creek, but a major remodel at Heather Farm is forcing the festival to move for the year. Instead, the festival is now at the Contra Costa Fairgrounds in Antioch. The festival will feature carnival rides, 4 days of live music, local vendors, and food. We headed out to the first night of the festival last night. While it was a little quiet, organizers expect things to pick up as we head into the weekend.
Wasn't going to be able to accommodate what we need, so we had to, switch gears and find another venue to be able to keep the festival going.
Well, so far, reaction overall has been pretty positive. Some of the people we met had never been to the Walnut Festival before and were glad to have it in their backyard, but others have mixed feelings about the relocation.
You go out to Antioch
I would for sure, yeah. It's not that far.
No, I will not go out to Antioch.
Too far?
Yeah, I wish them the best out there, but come back to Walnut Creek.
Depending on how fast the construction goes, the plan is to have the Walnut Festival back at Heather Farm next year. The festival in Antioch is picking back up today at 5 p.m. and the festival runs through Sunday. Tickets are $15. Kids 6 and under are free. Back to you.
All right, Andre, thank you.
Police are trying to figure out who's been throwing large rocks through windows of homes and cars in North Oakland. In the last few weeks, neighbors started sharing the security footage with each other, showing someone throwing those rocks.
Now, we heard from more than a half dozen neighbors there. Some say they were hit up to 6 different times in the past year. One homeowner said his home was most recently hit yesterday morning. A rock the size of a big melon. The people in that neighborhood are worried someone's going to get hurt.
He was literally right where I sit in our living room where the rock went through and just splattered glass all over the place. So it could have easily been myself, my daughter, who was sitting right there.
Some of the residents say they've spent thousands of dollars on repeated repairs on their homes. This neighborhood now putting up flyers in the area warning of the attacks. Now, Oakland police say they're investigating, but for right now, they can't confirm if these cases are related.
Teachers and staff in Richmond have voted to authorize a strike. The United Teachers of Richmond say more than 98% of members voted in favor of a strike. 96% of the school's clerical, food service, and maintenance workers also voted in favor. The union says it's demanding fair wages and affordable health care. The West Contra Costa Unified School District says it hopes a walkout can be avoided. It says it offered teachers and staff an ongoing 2% salary increase and a 5% increase to their medical contributions.
All right, time 7:17. Sal, the traffic's normally pretty busy. Are you feeling Friday light, though?
A little bit, yeah. It's just a little bit better, Dave and Garcia, today than it was yesterday, and that's what we hope for on a Friday. Let's begin with the East Bay on 880, slowing down 238 to Union City, and then the Bay Bridge backed up to the Maze. We do also have a look at the Richmond Bridge, which is backed up from Harbor, but things are already improving on this commute heading over to Marin County. Here's a man who's always improving. It's Mr. Steve Paulson.
Oh, man, I don't know about that, Sal, but thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I was guilty of looking at next weekend. It looks like a big system next weekend, and I'm just trying to get all the details together. Next weekend, not this weekend. All right, Middletown and Petaluma Airport dropped to 41, Roanoke Park 42, Mill Valley 43, Boulder Creek was in there, Cupertino 44, Orinda 44. I think Woodside made it to 44. I think they did, but it's 45 now. Menlo Park is also 45. Sonoma's 45, Napa's 45. There are a bunch in there. Napa, Danville, Palo Alto, Saratoga. Up we go from yesterday's low 70s. Everyone was close, around 75, 76, 77. So I just went 76 across the board for the forecast highs. 68, 53 for the city. Average is 70, 55, 93 5 years ago, the record high, and 47, 1984, not 1884, 1984. Warmer few days. We were unseasonably cool. We had record low maximum temperatures across the board on Tuesday. Wednesday wasn't much better. Yesterday, a little better. Today, we'll continue that theme and carry it into Saturday and probably Sunday as well. System off of LA will move in there on Tuesday. I think it'll stay south of us. But we get lots of sunshine, few high clouds, but they're thinning out pretty fast. 40s and 50s on your temps here. Only patchy fog. There's not as much as yesterday. There's Woodside, 44. Menlo Park, Stanford at 45. 46 Atherton. 47 Pacifica, and also Redwood City. 2 bits up in Truckee. South Lake Tahoe, 26. 27 in Minden. 32 in Reno. We're good to go for about 5-6 days. Nothing's showing up yet, but almost every global model is bringing in a powerhouse system next Saturday. Timing is still, it's 8 days away, but just a heads up for next Saturday, next weekend. We'll deal with it next week. California dreaming weather today, only patchy fog, looks good, a few high clouds, but we're good to go for more sunshine and warmer temps, near average now finally on a lot of these highs. They'll go a little above on Saturday, probably stay there Sunday. Still nice, but a little dip on Monday, Tuesday.
Thank you, Steve. A plan to give senior farm workers in Half Moon Bay a safe, affordable place to live is moving forward. How the project could also become a community hub.
Also, another round of rate hikes proposed by PG&E. We tell you how you can get involved in the process before a final decision is made.
Welcome back to the 9. A gorgeous look at KTVU's backyard, the Oakland Alameda Estuary, the sun rising in the far distance over San Francisco. For those who've been saying it's been too cold, you're in luck. Steve Paulson has good news for you as we're walking into a bit of a warm-up as we approach the weekend. Today marks 36 years, can you believe, since the Loma Prieta earthquake, one of the worst natural disasters to ever hit the Bay Area. It was back on October 17th of 1989. A magnitude 6.9 quake rocked the Bay Area. It was centered on the San Andreas Fault in a section of the Santa Cruz Mountains near Loma Prieta Peak. 63 people died, 3,800 more injured. Part of the upper deck of the Bay Bridge collapsed, as did much of the Cypress Freeway in Oakland. Homes throughout San Francisco's Marina District were in ruins. Many caught fire. Authorities say the death toll could have been much higher, but traffic was lighter than normal that evening because of a World Series game between the Giants and the A's. San Francisco held its first live test of its emergency firefighting water system. The system was first developed following the Great San Francisco earthquake back in 1906, which triggered fires that raged for 3 days due to an inadequate water supply system. Upgrades include 135 miles of high-pressure pipelines from several several water sources.
Our time now, 7:24. PG&E proposing a new general rate case, which includes annual increases in electric and gas revenue requirements beginning in 2027. Now, PG&E claims the rate hikes are needed for safety upgrades, including grid modernization and wildfire prevention efforts. If it's approved, a typical residential customer's bill is expected to be flat in 2027 because of other expiring costs, but consumer advocates warn of significant increases through 2030. Customers have to note that virtual public hearings are scheduled next week on Wednesday and Thursdays.
A housing project to provide affordable homes for senior farm workers in Half Moon Bay is one step closer to approval. Developers presented updated plans for a 5-story building to the City Council, potentially housing as many as 86 senior farm workers or family members. In addition to the housing, local advocacy groups say they hope to lease the ground floor as a community resource center.
These people that have put food on our tables for years, and now we're going to be able to provide them with a place to live.
It's a really big building in a small community, and I feel like there could be another space that would allow a lot more for these farm workers.
The plan has faced some community resistance over the building's size and a rule that no children would be allowed to live there. There is a sharp focus on living conditions for farm workers after a 2023 mass shooting in Half Moon Bay, which revealed many were living in substandard housing. 7:26. Some 69 million Americans rely on Medicare, and this year things look a little different. In a minute, we're talking live with the man known as Dr. Oz, who's now the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We'll explore the changes.
Good morning. For some people, it may soon become more affordable to start a family. We'll tell you how a new deal announced by President Trump could cut the cost of IVF by more than 80%. And new changes in Medicare during open enrollment that could affect as many as 69 million Americans. We'll be talking live to a member of the Trump administration to find out what's new.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Mornings on 2. I'm Dave Clark.
I'm Garcia Michaelian. It's Friday, October 17th. Let's get outside. See what the weather's doing. Steve Paulson, not too bad this weekend.
And just like that, the sun came up. Happened again.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, and it will be nice. It's mainly clear out there. There's a teeny bit of fog. We had a lot more yesterday, a lot of 40s showing up, a couple of 50s, but mainly 40s. The Petaluma Airport and Middletown were the coolest I've seen so far at 41 degrees. 40s, 50s on the temps here. We'll end up with 60s near the coast, 70s, and watch, see, a little warmer there kicking in. Maybe a few pushing upper 70s. I think tomorrow's more likely. So a warmer few days after an incredibly cool week. I mean, we were in the 50s on Tuesday, but we'll get near 80 for a few on Saturday inland. Few high clouds, but again, they're not much there. There is a low spinning west of LA. There's always a low lately spinning west of LA, but this one will impact them probably on Tuesday, not us. So California dreaming on nice weather today. Only patchy fog, mainly clear. It'll be sunny today, and it'll also be warmer. Temperatures 60s, 70s, finally getting back to near average. Can I go where I want to go, Sal, this morning?
And you can see what you want to see, too. I approve. And right now, the commute at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza, if you're going to San Francisco and you want to see San Francisco, and you've been waiting for Dreamforce to be over, it is over. However, the street closures are still there. But there will be fewer people near the Moscone Center today. It's just cleanup at this point. But it's going to take through the weekend for them to reopen up Howard Street in San Francisco. 880 in Oakland looks better after some earlier crashes. Northbound 101 at Vermont Street, there was a crash, and traffic on northbound 101 in San Francisco is slow from the 280 interchange. 7:31, let's go back to the desk.
Okay, Sal, thank you. Well, President Trump announced a deal with Merck, the drug maker, to cut the cost of some medications used for in vitro fertilization.
Ali Rasmus live in studio here to explain, Ali, how the price cut for those widely used drugs is tied to tariffs.
Well, the White House says Merck, a German pharmaceutical company, has agreed to cut the cost of its IVF drugs by 84%. And in exchange, Merck will avoid tariffs on the other medications it produces and exports to the U.S. Last year, Merck generated more than $970 million in sales from those IVF medications. At the White House yesterday, President Trump explained why he thinks the drug maker agreed to this deal.
Because of the election result November 5th, and maybe most importantly because of the tariffs, because if they do it here, there are no tariffs. IVF is among the most expensive treatments of all. A single round of IVF in the United States can cost up to $25,000, can actually go a lot higher than that, and many couples require multiple rounds for a successful pregnancy.
The cost of an IVF cycle can be anywhere from $12,000 to $25,000 without insurance coverage. The drug discount will save families about $2,200 per cycle. Now, under the plan, the 3 IVF medications included will be sold directly to consumers on the Trump RX website by sometime in 2026. We don't have a more specific timeline than that. But at the news conference yesterday, the president signaled there are plans to do something similar with other popular medications. The next possible target, the weight loss drug Ozempic.
They'll be much lower. They'll be much lower. Yeah, go ahead, please.
We have not negotiated those yet.
Now, despite the correction from Dr. Oz there, the president says his administration is negotiating with pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk, which makes Ozempic, to lower the cost of those medications. Novo Nordisk is a Danish company, and right now it costs consumers about $500 a month for a month's supply if they pay cash out of pocket. Now, the president says he wants to leverage tariffs to reduce the cost of those weight loss medications to about $150 a month. Back to you.
Ali Rasmus, thank you. 7:34 now. Medicare's open enrollment period is here. Some of the changes to the 2026 plan include deductibles and spending caps for prescription drug plans going up by $100. Prices of 10 widely used high-cost prescription medications will be lower, and the number of standalone prescription drug plans will be down to about 360. Let's get some insight by turning to Dr. Oz, now the head of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Gussie. I think the big message for a lot of seniors out there is nothing in the shutdown is going to hurt Medicare. It's a safe program, but it's your program. So you've got to take advantage of its wonderful benefits by going to Medicare.gov, create an account for yourself if you don't have one, and there's tons of information there to help you make wise decisions during this open enrollment period.
So let's go deeper on what you mentioned. It's the third week of a government shutdown here. A lot of people frustrated. Medicare is a mandatory spending program, has its own trust fund, so it doesn't rely on congressional appropriations. Are there any changes or impact to so many millions of people's health care because of the shutdown?
None whatsoever. And it's a good question because obviously that's part of the political bickering back and forth. But Medicare's safe. Both parties want to support it. It is the crown jewel of our social safety net program. But it works if you work with it. And so it's a great program, but like most things in life, if you engage it, you'll get more out of it. And you're about to watch an avalanche of ads on this wonderful station where my show used to be and many others about Medicare Advantage. Before you answer any of those ads, go online to Medicare.gov, open an account, learn about all the things we're trying to offer you as additional functionality and tools like advice on the medications that you're taking, because we pay the bills so we know what they are. Make sure they're covered by your insurance plan. See if your doctors are covered or any new doctors you want to go see. Any new medical conditions you may have can be adjudicated. You can get some advice on those. But in addition, there's some realities about how Medicare Advantage and Medicare differ from each other. So learn about those differences based on what you're looking for and who you're trying to see and what kinds of financial support you need. You're going to pick one versus the other. Once you understand that, then you can go out and answer those advertisements. And by the way, if anyone calls you trying to sell you something, they're lying. No one's supposed to call you and try to sell anything to you. You should be calling them.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you're describing feels like a lot to me, and I'm not even in the plan. A recent Kaiser Family Foundation survey found nearly 7 out of 10 Medicare beneficiaries do not compare plan options every year. What do you say to those who are overwhelmed by this idea of going through their plans, figuring it out, that sort of thing?
If you went to Medicare.gov last year, you would definitely feel overwhelmed. And we appreciate that. So we're working hard to make the site itself more accessible. Listen, I go on the plan, and there are parts of it that had been confusing. Again, we're making it better. It's not perfect, but it's a lot simpler to understand and navigate. Plus, the more information we're able to pull in about you, the more I can customize it to your personal needs and just tell you what I think might be an option for you. As we get better and better at this, we're going to be able to make it that much more seamless. So 2 little pro tips here. 1, get your kids involved or other members of your family because sometimes they can help adjudicate it. But the easiest thing to do is call 1-800-MEDICARE. If you don't understand the website, just literally call that number. There's an operator standing by who's well-trained, who's going to look at the website and explain to you what's, in your specific instance, what makes the most sense. And you can get curbside consults there. Like, what would they do if they were you?
All right. Dr. Oz, it's good to connect with you. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Hey, Garcia, take care.
Thanks. You too.
All right, thank you, Dr. Oz. Time is 7:37. Sal is back watching your commute. He'll help you get to where you need to go. Sal?
Yeah, Silicon Valley commute looks pretty good today. Fridays maybe in the Silicon Valley is a little lighter, but the big tech conference we had, Dreamforce, in San Francisco is over, but the closure's still there, and that might cause just a little slow traffic. It's kind of slow getting into San Francisco from both the peninsula and from Oakland. The backup at the Bay Bridge isn't that big, and 880 looks all right. But let me touch on that backup here. It's still backed up from the maze, so it could be worse, but it's not light there. Some of the other commutes, though, are lighter than usual. For example, Highway 4 and 680 in Contra Costa County. 7:38. Let's talk about today's weather. Here's Steve.
Sal, looks much nicer today. Not as much fog. It'll be warmer as well. I mean, we had record low maximum temperatures across the board on Tuesday. That's how unseasonably cold it was. A little rebound Wednesday and Thursday, and then today we'll get more of one, and it looks like we'll peak it out, not that warm, but we'll maybe see a few near 80 on Saturday, and likely on Sunday. Originally, they were trying to dig a system in on Sunday. They backed off on that. Overall, we're looking good. Let me take this off. There you go. There's just a few high clouds coming in. They're up there to the north, and I don't think they'll amount to too much, but if they zip on by, you'll know where they're coming from. 40s on the temps, 50s. Now we've bottomed out on the lows. I had a lot of low mid-40s this morning, although it was a little cooler yesterday morning. Boulder Creek, Creek 43, Hollister at 44, a lot of mid-40s. Cupertino did make it to 44. I think so. Now everyone's across the board bumping up a few degrees. 25 up in Truckee, South Lake Tahoe 26, Minden 27 degrees. And overall, we're looking good for probably till next Friday. It doesn't show up yet, but I'll tell you, there's a lot going on for next weekend. Could be a big powerhouse system. We'll see where it ends up, but it's sure trending in that direction for next weekend. Today, though, it looks beautiful. Good air quality, good visibility. Maybe a few high clouds, but no big deal. 60s, 70s on the temps. Can you warm it up for me a little more? Sure, I can do that tomorrow and probably keep it nice into Sunday, even into early next week. Big changes by this time next week, though.
Steve, thank you. Protests are planned nationwide and here in the Bay Area for this weekend for the No Kings protest. Demonstrators are expected to express their frustration with the president's administration over a number of issues.
And now we want to hear from you about all this. So let's go over to Andre Sr. You have our viewer poll of the day.
Dave Gossi, good morning to you both. We're asking this morning, are you participating in No Kings protest this weekend? And your options are simply yes or no. And right now, 75% of you say no. 30% of you say yes. Go to KTVU.com/vote. Let us know what you think about our question of the day.
All right. And as we go to break, take one more quick look at the poll. You can scan the QR code. It's in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It'll take you to the poll.
Some of the stories we're following here at 7:43. Israelis and members of the Jewish community worldwide continue to mark the more than 2 years since the attacks that started the war in Gaza. Special memorial ceremonies were held this week in the Bay Area, Israel, and elsewhere. Yesterday's observances aligned with the Hebrew calendar's anniversary. The gatherings mourned the victims and honored the hostages who remain in Gaza. President Trump is launching another major push to broker a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia today. The president is meeting with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky this morning at the White House. After the high-stakes discussion, he's scheduled to go to Hungary for his second summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Here at home, State Senator Scott Wiener is reportedly planning to run for Congress. The San Francisco Standard reports he'll run to represent San Francisco next year. Now, Senator Wiener had previously said he would only run once Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi decided to retire. She has not said anything about that. His allies are telling the Standard he will not wait. A representative for Senator Wiener had no comment.
Our time now, 7:44. This is day 17 of the federal government shutdown. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed. Yesterday, the U.S. Senate rejected a stopgap spending bill and also a standalone bill to fund the Defense Department. Democrats continue to vote no, demanding protections for health care subsidies are about to expire. Without an extension, health insurance plans could see steep jumps in premiums beginning next month. Leaders from both political parties are blaming each other for the government shutdown.
House Republicans and Senate Republicans have gone radio silent since the Oval Office meeting that took place about 3 weeks ago because they have no defensible position. Their position is we want to continue to benefit the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected and promote the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. That's the Republican position.
They've refused to just do their basic job, get the government going again, making sure that federal employees are paid, that our troops are paid, Border Patrol agents, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, and everyone else who relies upon the vital services of our federal government. They're being denied that because Democrats in Congress are playing games.
The SNAP benefits to low-income Americans may soon be at risk as well. Air traffic controllers have also received their last paycheck. They could go unpaid if the government shutdown continues.
The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is suing over President Trump's $100,000 fee on new H-1B visas for highly skilled foreign workers. The chamber calls the new visa surcharge unlawful, arguing it would disrupt the visa system established by Congress. Critics of the H-1B program say foreign workers often replace American workers. The administration has argued that the restriction is necessary to help protect American economic and national security interests. Well, Southwest is getting a makeover, and a local company just bought Del Taco.
And Pam Cook knows all about it. Yes. She has all the details and also an announcement from Meta. You have everything in dollars and cents.
Very interesting. And Gossi and I will talk about Del Taco later.
Yes,
Southern California.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Meta just announced some new safety features this morning to help parents keep track of how their kids are using AI. Meta says parents will now be able to limit teenagers' interactions with artificial intelligence characters and can actually turn off one-on-one chats. They will also be able to access the topics their kids are discussing on the platform. Well, the Breast Cancer Research Foundation rang that opening bell this morning. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation, recognized as one of the most prominent in funding groundbreaking research worldwide. It is, of course, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Taking a live look at the numbers, the markets were down overnight on some credit concerns for some smaller regional banks in other parts of the country primarily. But you can see the Dow Jones up a little bit right now, the S&P 500 up just slightly. The Nasdaq still a little bit in negative territory this morning. A Fremont-based company just bought the Del Taco chain from Jack in the Box. Yadav Enterprises bought more than 550 Del Taco locations for $115 million. Yadav Enterprises is already in the fast food game. It owns hundreds of restaurants, including some Jack in the Box, Denny's, TGI Fridays, and Nick the Greek locations. That sale is expected to be finalized early next year. Two Bay Area companies are announcing layoffs. Chevron is cutting 175 jobs, with 100 of those at its San Ramon headquarters. Chevron reports the cuts are part of a massive multi-billion-dollar effort to stay competitive and are scheduled to start next Thursday. Impacted employees will receive severance pay, continued medical coverage, and resources for education and training. Chevron laid off 600 people at that same campus earlier this year. Southwest Airlines unveiling an all-new look. The airline is bringing on new Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes with an updated cabin design. They include new seats, extra legroom, updated power outlets and charging ports, and larger overhead bins. This is the latest chapter in a transformation at Southwest Airlines as it launched bag fees, added international partnerships, and will begin assigned seating in the new year. I'm Pam Cook. That's a look at your dollars and cents.
Pam, thank you. 7:49. Let's see what this Friday commute brings, Sal.
Well, it's still busy getting into San Francisco from the Bay Bridge and also on the peninsula. Let's start with the Bay Bridge first. You can see it is backed up to the maze and the metering lights are on, but it's improving by the moment. It is backed up to the foot of the maze, and if you look at 880, that's much better. Over on the other side of the bay, northbound 101 is slow from the old Candlestick exit. We had an earlier problem right near Vermont Street, and things are improving quite a bit. Southbound 101 is slow getting into South City because of an accident near the first South City exit. I would say 280 is actually pretty good this morning getting out of the peninsula heading down south. 7:49. Let's bring Steve back with today's weather.
Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that. All right, we are good to go here. A little bit of fog, not much. We had more yesterday. You know, as I said, my next job, I'm not going to speak for a living. I'm going to sit behind a cubicle. I'm fighting this upper respiratory. If you've had it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'll get there. Except for a few high clouds, we're good to go. 40s, 50s on the temps here. We bottomed out on the lows. Had a lot of low, mid-40s, 20s up in the mountains, including Minden, South Lake Tahoe, Truckee's in there. But everything says sunshine and nice warm temps here next couple of days, at least for this time of year, bumping up. Nothing for us until maybe next weekend. Boy, it could be a big one, but we'll deal with it next week. But that's the way it's looking. California dreaming weather today. Temperatures in the 70s, near average. They've been below this entire week, but they're inching closer, 60s, 70s on that temp. And tomorrow does look a little warm. It could be a few near 80. Same for Sunday. Still good to go Monday, Tuesday, just slightly cooler, Dave.
All right, Steve, thank you. Time 7:50. From performing at their high school in San Leandro to mixing at main stages around the Bay Area and beyond. Up next at 8, we'll introduce you to a Peruvian DJ duo honoring their heritage with some of the biggest hits. And a beautiful butterfly spreading its wings again and flying again. We'll tell you about a delicate new procedure making it possible for this endangered species to survive. Welcome back to Mornings on 2. Time is 7:54. Police in San Leandro investigating what they call a possible hate crime after a homeowner's pride flag was intentionally set on fire. The home surveillance video shows a man walking up to the garage door, setting that flag on fire. And the video shows the suspect walking away, only stopping for a moment to watch the flag burn. And luckily, the flames went out on their own, but not before leaving some visible burn marks on the house. The couple told us they're deeply shaken and disappointed by what happened.
Even with the sensor lights going off, didn't have a regard for it and still did it. So the mission was clear. It was to go ahead and destroy property and make us fearful and be hurtful.
Now, police in San Leandro are actively working to find out if this was an isolated incident. They're advising and urging anybody who has extra surveillance video or who may know the man to call investigators. Time is now 7:55. The University of San Francisco is mourning after the sudden death of its beloved athletic director, Larry Williams. He was 62 years old, a former NFL player, Notre Dame All-American, died unexpectedly yesterday morning while working out on the campus. Despite only joining UCSF in August of 2022, the staff and the students at the school say he quickly became known for his dedication to student athletes. His impact was felt across the campus.
He just seemed like a very positive, encouraging person who was really passionate about getting the best for us student athletes. So it was just really sad to hear.
Larry was more than just an administrator. He was a champion for meeting people's needs. Larry was as real as you get. He was all heart.
Williams leaves behind a wife and 5 children. He was also a grandfather. The school is offering grief counselors to those who need it. They're expected to honor his memory at an event in the coming days. Well, a dangerous social media stunt has sent a teenager in Florida to the hospital with burn injuries. The challenge, known as the Jam Jar Pulse Jet on TikTok, involves a highly volatile setup. It tells the users to pour rubbing alcohol into a jar, put a lid on it, drill a hole through the lid, and then ignite that flammable liquid. Authorities are now warning parents about the very extreme risk associated with this and other viral fire challenges.
Just engage with kids and then also find opportunities to highlight the risk with kids, right? The risk of getting burned, the risk of setting the house on fire, so that they understand there's real consequence with these things.
Officials say this incident is a serious reminder about the life-threatening consequences of trying dangerous stunts you see on social media. Our time is 7:57. An injured butterfly now has a chance to fly again thanks to a very delicate new rehabilitation method. One nature preserve on Long Island is performing wing transplants to help butterflies, including endangered or at-risk species like the monarch butterfly. It's a procedure that's been done on other insects or animals, but was never attempted on butterflies until now.
I had to make sure the black veins lined up, that it was the exact wing that went to the body. This is one little insect, and the fact that I think we cared enough at Sweetbriar to save its life and let it go onto its journey, I think that's powerful.
Now, they use a wired coat hanger and put it in a loop to keep the butterfly's wings open during this delicate procedure. Then the wing is attached using cornstarch and glue. The butterfly can now continue its migration heading south to Mexico. Well, the Monterey Bay Aquarium is getting a big economic boost thanks to fans of pop superstar Taylor Swift. Taylor was seen wearing a vintage T-shirt from the aquarium as she promoted her latest film project. The aquarium then relaunched the old shirt design and used the newfound popularity among Swifties to raise money for its sea otter research program. The organization raised more than $1 million in only 7 hours after launching the fundraiser.
This is a critically endangered species. They had been hunted almost to extinction back in the 1800s. And today, thanks to the work of a lot of people that have been trying to recover them, there's about 3,000 sea otters off California's central coast, give or take. So they've made a strong comeback, but there's more work to be done for sure.
And with so many people donating to the campaign, those otter T-shirts are now on back order so the aquarium can catch up.
Salesforce's CEO in hot water once again. Wise companies offer to help. The Trump administration is raising questions about the Bay Area's tech and immigrant communities. And as parents sound the alarm over teen suicides linked to AI chatbots, Meta is out with new parental controls. Why critics say it's just damage control.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Welcome to Mornings on 2 at 8 o'clock. She look live at the sun. Blaring down, got some low clouds hanging out, but we're in for a warm-up this weekend. Far different cry than what we had at the start of the week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
Good morning. I'm Gassia Mikaelian. Friday, October 17th, we started with a Monday washout. Here we are looking at a pretty warm weekend. Steve Paulson, it has been a week.
It has been a month.
Yeah.
My goodness. We've had 90s, we've had rain, we've had cold temps, and now we're looking for a little more tranquil conditions. But Andre's right, there's some low clouds out there. Not a lot, but there's a little bit. 40s, 50s on the temp. City's been stuck at 54. A lot of 40s, but we've already bottomed out on the lows. Warmer few days after unseasonably cold Tuesday and Wednesday. We started a little rebound yesterday. They were still below average. Today they'll get temps near average, and then tomorrow I think they'll go above, except for a few high clouds that only people in weather would probably notice. We're looking good to go. There is a low west-southwest of LA. It'll play into their weather probably next Tuesday. I don't think it'll do anything for us. But California dreaming weather today. Looks good today. Only patchy fog. Once that clears, we're good to go. Sunshine temperatures trying to bump up, and they will eventually, 60s, 70s. All right, Sal is here, 8 o'clock. I don't want to jinx it, but so far so good, yes?
Yes, there is a new crash, though. Southbound 880 at Whipple, Union City. That one just came in, and we do have some slowing there. Now, the traffic volume is lighter, and if they get this out of the way soon, I think we'll be able to recover quickly. We've also been looking at some of the other commutes from Marin County, southbound 101, a little slowing to San Rafael, and at the Bay Bridge, we're improving rather quickly. It had been backed up all the way to the maze at one point. Now it's backed up to the end of that parking lot. 8:01, let's go back to the headlines.
There is new controversy this morning surrounding the Salesforce CEO as that company wraps up its annual tech conference.
The New York Times reports Mark Benioff is offering the federal government to help to quickly hire thousands of immigration enforcement agents. KTVU's James Torres is live in San Francisco with this story. James.
Good morning to you both. Well, we are still down here in downtown San Francisco. This is where Dreamforce happened, right just inside of Moscone Center. Streets are still closed as they're breaking down all the setup that was here all week long. But what's left behind are some of the controversies as a result of some of the comments made by Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff. Most recently, of course, this conversation about the federal government and suggesting artificial intelligence could help it with its efforts to execute mass deportations. That's all according to a New York Times article published last night. In it, it says Salesforce did not refute the authenticity of some of the documents that it obtained, but Salesforce cannot comment on it because it doesn't comment on any pending contracts. This is the latest in a string of headlines coming out of this week's Dreamforce conference. Earlier this week, we heard longtime Salesforce Foundation board member Ron Conway step down from his post, saying that his values no longer aligned with Benioff. And before the conference even started, Benioff found himself under some criticism after saying that he would support National Guard troops coming to San Francisco to support some vacancies and shortages in the police department. We spoke to a political science expert this morning weighing in on how Benioff is pitching AI working with ICE enforcement.
What Salesforce offers is very sophisticated software so that you can do data management, so that it can help you in, I guess, in recruiting officers. It can help you in pulling together information that might help to decide where to target your operations.
The federal government and the military are some of Salesforce's largest clients, so it's not unusual for Salesforce to work with agencies like ICE. It's done that with past administrations, but experts say offering to help hire more people seems like a new development. Salesforce not the only Bay Area company publicly offering to work closely with the Trump administration. We know the White House recently holding a summit including companies like OpenAI, Google, Oracle, Apple, and Meta. We're live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, James, thank you. Time now is 8:04. Federal immigration officers in and around Chicago will be required to wear body cameras while carrying out ICE operations. The order came from a federal judge who says she was startled after seeing TV images of confrontations involving tear gas and other tactics during the recent ICE crackdown in the city. The Department of Justice says it won't be possible to immediately distribute cameras and that details could be worked out later.
A federal judge has permanently blocked the Trump administration's attempt to cut nearly $34 million in anti-terror funding for New York City's transit system. The judge ruled the Department of Homeland Security's decision was a blatant violation of the law. The court found the funds were improperly withheld because of New York's sanctuary city policies. The ruling orders the federal government to promptly disperse the full amount to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
President Trump is making another attempt to work out a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. Mr. Trump is meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House today. He also plans to hold a second summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin within 2 weeks in Hungary. It's been 2 months since they held a meeting in Alaska, and it comes amid unrelenting Russian drone attacks on Ukraine.
To make real pressure on Putin. We need real air defense. And the second point, to have long distance capabilities.
President Zelensky is asking the White House to provide long-range Tomahawk missiles for strikes deep into Russia. He says they won't be used for civilian targets, but Russia warns the missiles could be considered a provocation.
Police in Berkeley say they think 6 restaurant burglaries in 2 different parts of the city are related. The break-ins began around 4 o'clock Thursday morning, starting with 3 restaurants near the Durant Food Court in South Berkeley. An hour later, 3 more restaurants were broken into on University Avenue near Shattuck. In at least 2 cases, the thieves stole cash registers.
I'm so upset. I came here happy to work, and now I'm so upset, exhausted, tired, sick of that.
When I came here, everything, all the windows from the door was broken. Being around here, I've been working in some other places, so we never saw something like this. This is totally new.
Berkeley police detectives say they hope to use surveillance cameras and witness video to find who's responsible.
Well, police are trying to figure out who's been throwing large rocks through windows of homes and cars in North Oakland. In the last few weeks, neighbors started sharing security footage with each other, showing the person throwing rocks. We heard from more than half a dozen neighbors, some who say they were hit up to 6 times in the last year. One homeowner says his house was most recently hit yesterday morning with a rock the size of a large melon. Area residents say they're worried someone could be hurt.
It was literally right where I sit in our living room where the rock went through and just splattered glass all over the place. So it could have easily been myself, my daughter, who was sitting right there.
Some residents say they spent thousands of dollars on repeated repairs. The neighborhood is putting up flyers warning of the attacks. OPD says it's investigating, but for now cannot confirm whether these cases are related.
Teachers and staff in Richmond have voted to authorize a strike. The United Teachers of Richmond say more than 98% of the members voted in favor. 96% of the school's clerical, food service, and maintenance workers also voted in favor. The union says it's demanding fair wages and affordable health care. The West Contra Costa Unified School District says it hopes a walkout can be avoided. It says it's offering teachers and staff an ongoing 2% salary increase and a 5% increase to the medical contribution. New this morning, Meta is adding more parental controls to children's use of AI chatbots. Controls include the ability for parents to turn off one-on-one chats with AI characters altogether. Parents can also block specific chatbots. The changes come as Meta faces ongoing criticism and lawsuits that link the use of AI chatbots to teen suicide. A recent study from Common Sense Media found more than 70% of teens have used some kind of AI chatbot. The new controls go into effect next year.
Time now is 8:08, and we do have traffic at the Bay Bridge, but it's improving quite a bit. You can see it is going to be okay if you are driving up to the toll plaza. There'll be a little bit of slowing, maybe 5-10 minutes, and that's about all before you head into San Francisco. We have been looking at the East Bay commute. That's still a little bit slow on 880 heading north. And across the Bay, San Francisco, southbound 101 leaving San Francisco slow because of a crash approaching Oyster Point. So I would use 280 instead of 101 heading south. 8:08, let's go back to the desk.
All right, South X, no Kings demonstrations expected from coast to coast this weekend. The local marches and rallies expecting thousands as organizers say this time their movement could be even bigger than the first round of protests.
A plan to build safe, stable housing for senior farm workers in the Bay Area takes a step forward amid concerns the project isn't right in a number of ways. We'll have a look at the proposal.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby and Myers, we know the stakes: your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Some stories we're following this morning. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton has surrendered to federal authorities on charges of mishandling classified documents. A federal grand jury charged him with keeping top-secret documents at his home. Prosecutors allege the classified information was exposed when his email was hacked. In a statement, Bolton said he is the latest target in weaponizing the Justice Department to charge President Trump's enemies.
President Trump announced a deal that will cut the cost of in vitro fertilization treatments. The White House says Merck, a German pharmaceutical company, has agreed to cut the cost of its IVF drugs by 84%. In exchange, Merck will avoid tariffs on all of its other medications it produces and exports to the U.S. The drug discount will save families about $2,200 per IVF cycle.
Today, nurses are set to rally outside UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital, demanding recent layoff notices to be rescinded. Union organizers say the notices were received last week. The union says UC had promised to expand services at the facility and assured nurses that no layoffs would result from the recent transition to be a full part of the UCSF system. We did reach out to UCSF for comment. We are waiting to hear back. This weekend, more than 2,700 No Kings protests are set to happen nationwide.
Those demonstrations are being held as people express their frustration with the Trump administration over a wide range of issues. KTVU's Devin Truby is live with the impacts to the Bay Area. Devin?
Yes, good morning, Andre. On Saturday, we are expecting big crowds across the Bay Area for the No Kings protest from locations in San Francisco, Sausalito, all the way down to the East Bay in places like Fremont, Hayward, and Union City. Now, these protesters saying that they are upset with the current government and the Trump administration, along with the deployment of the National Guard in some of the cities, and also upset about health care costs. Now, this morning, there were press conferences regarding the government shutdown. We were able to hear from both sides on this issue. First, we will hear from Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who said he didn't know if he would be attending this weekend because he hopes he'll be in conversations about the shutdown.
I support the right of every single American to participate in the rallies that are going to take place this week. And showing up to express dissent against an out-of-control administration. That's as American as motherhood, baseball, and apple pie. That's the First Amendment. And the notion that this unhinged White House spokesperson would suggest that that's hateful. That's not hateful. What's hateful is what happened on January 6th. What you'll see this weekend is what patriotism looks like. People showing up to express opposition to the extremism that Donald Trump has been unleashing on the American people, and Donald Trump's failures, the Republican failure to keep their core promise.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson almost immediately brought up the protest in his comments this morning. He said he went on for this topic for about 3 minutes, calling the protest the Hate America rally.
Think about what's going to happen here tomorrow. You're going to bring together the Marxists, the socialists, the Antifa advocates, the anarchists, and the pro-Hamas wing of the far-left Democrat Party. That is the modern Democratic Party. Many of them don't like living in America. They hate capitalism. They hate our free enterprise system. They hate our principles. They hate the ideas that we come in to work every day to fight for, to preserve, in the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Speaker Johnson did say he is a strong advocate, though, for people expressing their First Amendment rights. We're expecting protests in the Bay Area to start as early as 10 a.m. on Saturday. Reporting live in Walnut Creek, Devin Truby, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, thanks, Devin. We're asking, are you participating in a No Kings protest this weekend? Yes or no? 49% of you say yes, 51% of you say no. Scan the QR code top right-hand corner of your screen or go to ktvu.com/vote.
A housing project to provide affordable homes for senior farm workers in Half Moon Bay is one step closer to approval. Developers presented updated plans for a 5-story building to the city council. It could potentially house up to 86 senior farm workers and family members. In addition to the housing, local advocacy groups say they hope to lease the ground floor as a community resource center.
These people that have put food on our tables for years, and now we're going to be able to provide them with a place to live.
It's a really big building in a small community, and I feel like there could be another space that would allow a lot more for these farm workers.
The plan has faced some community resistance over the building's size and a rule that means no children could live there. There is a sharp focus on living conditions for farm workers after a 2023 mass shooting in Half Moon Bay revealed many were in substandard housing.
Time is 8:17, and we do have improvement. I've been looking at the peninsula and San Francisco. If you're leaving San Francisco, there was a crash getting into South City near Oyster Point. It's gone, but we still have slow traffic from San Francisco's 280 interchange. But 280 itself would be the best way to leave and head down the peninsula and stay on 280 or use 380 to hook up with 101. The Bay Bridge has improved quite a bit. There's a little bit of a delay between the toll plaza and the metering lights. And the Richmond Bridge looks good. By the way, I had put up SFO, and there goes an airplane taking off on runway 1 right. No significant delays in and out of SFO. 8:18. Let's bring Steve back with today's weather.
Sal, looking good here. We have a little bit of low clouds, tule fog. Some of it kind of more dancing around towards San Francisco than inland areas. A little different twist, but once that lifts, burns, and we'll be good to go. But a little low will form west of L.A. It'll probably impact them next Tuesday. I don't think it's going to do anything for us. A few high clouds coming down from the north, but again, they wash out. There's just nothing really to support them. 40s, 50s on the temps here. We bottomed out with low 40s to mid 40s. 25, Truckee. Also South Lake Tahoe, and 30 in Reno. If you want warmer temps, today it starts. Probably peaks out Saturday. Nothing yet, but boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of chatter about maybe a big system arriving a week from today, more likely on Saturday the 25th. So we'll tackle it next week. But if you have plans on Saturday the 25th, I'd have a plan B dusted off just in case. Only patchy fog, lots of sun, few high clouds, but looking warmer. 60s, 70s on the temps. We were so far below normal. It's taking 3 days to warm us up to get to near average, but we're getting there, and it'll be above average on Saturday. It looks still good on Sunday.
Steve, thank you. Medicare open enrollment is now underway, and there are changes that could make health care more expensive for millions. Why it is so important to take action and whether the system is affected by the federal government shutdown.
Well, it's today's Weekend Watch. There's plenty to do around the Bay Area this weekend. Today in San Francisco, Tato's Restaurant is holding a Pay What You Can Taco Day, where customers can pay anywhere from $0 to $10 for food from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tomorrow in Oakland at Lake Merritt is the last day of the Autumn Lights Festival. There will be 90 locally produced light art displays across multiple gardens. Tickets start at $28, and the light shows start at 6 p.m. And tomorrow in Berkeley, Dijo is performing at the Greek Theater. The singer, also known as actor Joe Carey, is best known for his work in Stranger Things. That show starts at 8 p.m. and tickets cost $75. 8:23 is your time. Meta is unveiling some new features designed to help keep kids safe when using AI.
Pam Cook back in studio with this and more in today's Dollars and Cents.
A lot of parents asking for some more safeguards in place. Meta says parents will now be able to limit teenagers' interactions with artificial intelligence characters and can actually turn off one-on-one chats. They will also be able to access the topics their kids are discussing on the platform. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation rang that opening bell this morning. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation, recognized as one of the most prominent in funding groundbreaking research worldwide. It is, of course, a National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As we take a live look at the numbers, all three indexes have turned negative in the last hour. Not a huge drop, but the Dow Jones down slightly, the S&P 500 down about 0.25%, the Nasdaq slipping the most, with the tech stocks down more than 0.5%, 129 points down for the Nasdaq. Formula One is headed to a new television broadcast home in the U.S. next year. Apple announced a deal this morning for the exclusive broadcast rights. The 5-year deal means F1 races will be on the Apple TV streaming service. Apple TV subscribers will get those races without having to pay an extra fee, and a few races will be free to everyone each year. Apple is reportedly paying about $140 million for the rights to the broadcast, which are currently shown on ESPN. It's the latest sign of the explosion of the popularity of Formula One in the United States. Apple also recently produced F1 the movie, an action movie based on the sport. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce filed a lawsuit concerning President Trump's $100,000 fee on new H-1B visas for highly skilled foreign workers. The chamber calls the new visa surcharge unlawful, arguing it would disrupt the visa system established by Congress. Critics of the H-1B program, however, say these foreign workers are often replacing American workers. The administration has argued that the restriction is necessary to protect American economic and national security interests. Car loans and delinquencies have increased in the last 15 years as car prices and interest rates continue to rise. One credit score company says consumers across all income categories are struggling to make their car payments. Delinquencies have jumped since 2010 on car loans, and the average monthly car payment now nearly $800 a month. The credit score company found even people with a good credit score are missing some of those car payments. I'm Pam Cook. That's a look at your dollars and cents.
Pam, thank you. PG&E out with a new rate hike push, and the proposal could cost the average household hundreds of dollars more. How you can weigh in on this plan. And then
necessary injuries being incurred by young people who are chasing some social media like.
It's a viral dare that can cause blindness, even house fires. We'll show you the TikTok stunt that's putting young users in danger. A high-stakes visit to the White House this morning, what could come from a face-to-face meeting between President Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, as a meeting is also in the works with Russia's president and the United States leader. Then what could be a big win for couples struggling to conceive, the major deal that'll cut the cost of IVF treatments and the promise to lower the cost of other medications.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gasia Mikaelian.
I'm Andre Sr. It's Friday, October 17th, and the weekend warm-up is coming. Let's turn things over to Steve Paulson. He's got details on that in your forecast. Hey, Steve.
Well, is it sunny outside your back window there, you two?
Yeah, nice.
There you go. Yeah, we do have some low clouds around, but more sunshine here today. Crazy week, crazy month. We had rain, we had funnel clouds, we had cold temps, and now we're getting lots of sunshine here today. 40s, 50s on the temps, beginning to bounce off those morning lows, but it looks like a nice day. A little quick warm up here. I mean, you have to remember, Tuesday and Wednesday were unseasonably cold. Saw a little bounce Thursday. We'll get more today. It looks like we'll top it out on the weekend with some upper 70s to near 80, except for a few high clouds and that little low west-southwest of L.A. It's not impacting our weather. We look good to go here. So California dreaming weather, that's for sure. We have nice conditions here on tap for your Friday and your weekend. Temperatures today getting back to near average for most here, 60s and 70s inland. All right, 8:30. Clearing out something new.
Yeah, we're clearing out. I like what we're seeing here. Looks like my computer may decide not to work. We'll see. Let's see. Yes, the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza has cleared out, and we don't have much of a backup now. You can see that traffic continues to move along okay. If you are driving in Oakland, things are also becoming better, but there's still some congestion from about the Coliseum driving into downtown Oakland, and also congestion leaving San Francisco on 101. Fortunately for you, today 280 is actually doing pretty well with just a little slow traffic in South San Francisco. Highway 4 still has a little bit of a slowdown getting over to Concord from Pittsburgh. It's 8:30. Let's get back to the headlines.
Sal, thank you. President Trump announced a deal with the drug maker Merck to cut the cost of some medications we use for in vitro fertilization.
KTVU's Allie Erasmus is live to explain how the price cut for these popular drugs is tied to tariffs. Allie?
Well, the White House says Merck, a German pharmaceutical company, has agreed to cut the cost of its widely used IVF drugs by 84%. And in exchange, Merck will avoid tariffs on the other medications it produces and exports to the U.S. President Trump spoke from the White House to make the announcement yesterday. The cost of an IVF cycle can be as high as $12,000 to $25,000 for patients that don't have insurance coverage. It often takes multiple cycles to lead to a successful pregnancy. So this drug discount is expected to save families about $2,200 per cycle. Again, discount covers just some of the medications used, not the entire IVF process. But the president says this tariff negotiation tactic will be used to reduce the cost of other popular medications and even fertility treatments, and that the administration is going to find other ways to pressure drug makers overseas to reduce their costs. Many pharmaceutical companies charge Americans more for the same drugs compared to customers in Europe.
The number one fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And, we're ending all of that. Other countries are agreeing to it because if they don't, we put tariffs on them. And then they agree.
Now, at that same news conference yesterday, the president signaled there are plans to do something similar with other popular medications. The president says his administration is negotiating with Danish pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk, which makes Ozempic, to cut its prices. Right now, it costs consumers about $500 for a month's supply of the weight loss drug if they pay cash out of pocket. The president says he wants to leverage tariffs to reduce the cost to $150 a month. Back to you.
Allie, thank you. President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine is visiting the White House this morning, hoping to secure more U.S. military support in the fight against Russia. Today's meeting comes one day after President Trump announced plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the coming weeks. Let's get some insight by turning to Hillary Apple, professor of government at Claremont McKenna College. We'll sort of take the second part first. Thanks for being with us, Professor.
Good morning.
Good morning. We'll start with Russia here. Vladimir Putin has fended off repeated threats of deadlines and sanctions from President Trump while continuing to wage war in Ukraine. He is now dangling the prospect of Russian-American business deals, appears to be open to talks to end the invasion. What do you expect to see between Presidents Trump and Putin?
Unfortunately, I expect to see more of the same. He has been so successful in understanding how to get beyond any kind of deadline that President Trump seems to impose on a peace deal or a ceasefire. And this is just one more example, motivated by the timing of President Zelensky's visit tomorrow. So unfortunately, I think this will not be enough to offer possible peace deals in the future, because the fundamental conflict between Ukraine and Russia and the unwillingness of both sides to change any control over the territory they currently hold hasn't gone away.
Now to today's meeting here. Mr. Zelensky likely to ask for more U.S.-made weapons when he has his face-to-face with President Trump, including long-range Tomahawk missiles that could strike deep inside Russia. Tell me about that new capability, what it would mean.
So this would be a very significant development, because Tomahawk missiles are, as you just said, a long-range missile that can go as far as 1,500 miles into Russia, which is well beyond the capacity required in order to hit Moscow or St. Petersburg or all sorts of oil refineries or anything else that will be helpful for Ukraine's ability to defend itself in this war. So if the United States were willing to sell these Tomahawk missiles into Ukraine, this would be a really important game changer in its ability to strike inside of Russia. And that is why, in order to do some kind of damage control, President Putin got on the phone yesterday to try to turn the table in terms of Trump's own willingness to sell those missiles, because he had indicated that he was willing to consider it before that phone call yesterday. But now he's saying maybe we need to keep those missiles for our own defense.
So does it sound like you think the president will not agree to the request?
I do not expect that to happen at this time.
Okay, because that would really sort of open up, I mean, not just a new page, a whole new book in the war.
Absolutely. This would be an important breach of current arrangements where the U.S. has not allowed its own weapons to be used for long-range strikes into Russia. So that would be an important change. And President Putin was telling just yesterday President Trump it wouldn't change things on the battlefield, but it would create a new vulnerability for Russia. And that is why he called yesterday to try to prevent this from happening today.
Many people still remember that very contentious meeting that President Trump and his vice president had with President Zelensky at the White House not long after he was sworn in, meaning President Trump. What do you think the tone of today's meeting with Mr. Zelensky will be?
In fact, I don't expect it to blow up or look anything like that, really contentious meeting between them and also J.D. Vance in the Oval Office. At the same time, though, I don't expect it to have the tone, which was so positive in the meeting on August 17th. If you recall, during that meeting, it wasn't just that Mr. Zelensky showed up to speak with President Trump, but he brought along with him the president of France, President Macron, Prime Minister Starmer from the UK, Chancellor Merz, Prime Minister Maloney, not to mention the NATO Secretary General and the European Commission President. I mean, he was surrounded by European leaders, which gave a crucial importance to that meeting, and it, I think, was a very effective strategy for giving this administration the sense that Europe is behind this peace process, that Europe is behind Ukraine. And so that was a fascinating strategy and a tremendous success. So I'm not expecting the August 17th meeting to be quite the same tone as what we have today, but I also don't expect anything as discouraging as the meeting with Zelensky and Vance and Trump in the Oval Office.
All right, the world will be watching. We appreciate your time and insight. Hillary Apple, professor of government at Claremont McKenna College. Thank you again.
My pleasure.
It's day 17 of the federal government shutdown with hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed. The Senate rejected a stopgap spending bill yesterday and a standalone bill to fund the Department of Defense. Democrats continue to vote no, demanding protections for health care subsidies that are set to expire. Without an extension, health insurance plans could see steep premium hikes starting next month. Leaders from both sides of the aisle are blaming each other for the shutdown.
House Republicans and Senate Republicans have gone radio silent since the Oval Office meeting that took place about 3 weeks ago, because they have no defensible position. Their position is, we want to continue to benefit the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, and promote the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. That's the Republican position.
They refuse to just do their basic job, get the government going again, making sure that federal employees are paid, that our troops are paid, Border Patrol agents, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, and everyone else who relies upon the vital services of our federal government. They're being denied that because Democrats in Congress are playing games.
SNAP benefits to low-income Americans could soon be at risk. Air traffic controllers have also received their last paycheck and could go unpaid if the shutdown continues.
Medicare's open enrollment period is here. Nearly 70 million Americans, most of them 65 and up, rely on the federal health insurance program. This year, there are many changes, and open enrollment comes as we're in the third week of a government shutdown. Earlier on Mornings on 2, hope you were with us. We talked live with Dr. Oz, who's now the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, about what's most important for people to know now.
I think the big message for a lot of seniors out there is nothing in the shutdown is going to hurt Medicare. It's a safe program, but it's your program. So you've got to take advantage of its wonderful benefits by going to Medicare.gov, create an account for yourself if you don't have one, and there's tons of information there to help you make wise decisions during this open enrollment period.
Some of the changes to the 2026 plan include deductibles and spending caps for prescription drug plans going up by $100. Prices of 10 widely used high-cost prescription medications will be lower, and the number of standalone prescription drug plans will be down to about 360. PG&E is proposing a new round of rate hikes that could impact your bills over the next 4 years. The proposal, the latest version, would raise the average electric bill by $144 a year in 2027. By the year 2030, customers could pay $408 more per year. There are 2 virtual public hearings set for the matter next week on Wednesday and Thursday.
Keeping their heritage alive through Latin beats mixed with house music, we'll speak to a local duo that went from performing at their San Leandro High School to major Bay Area venues and festivals.
The annual Dreamforce conference by Salesforce in San Francisco is wrapping up amid new controversy sparked by the company's CEO. The New York Times reports Mark Benioff offered the federal government help to quickly hire thousands of ICE agents through the use of artificial intelligence. The company did not refute the documents, which cite conversations between Benioff and the federal government about the initiative. Last week, Benioff told the Times he would welcome National Guard troops patrolling the city. Protesters will be marching through dozens of cities around the Bay Area tomorrow as part of the No King's Day protest. There are protests planned in San Francisco, Oakland, Pleasanton, Walnut Creek, and beyond. Organizers say it's a way to express frustration with the Trump administration over a wide range of issues, including National Guard deployments, enhanced immigration enforcement, and the government shutdown. State Senator Scott Wiener is reportedly planning to run for Congress. The San Francisco Standard reports he'll run to represent San Francisco next year. Senator Wiener had previously said he'd only run once Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi decided to retire, but his allies now tell the Standard he is not waiting. We reached out to Senator Wiener's office. A representative told us it had no comment. We did also reach out to Representative Pelosi's office and have yet to hear back.
At 8:44, it's been a fall staple in Walnut Creek for over 80 years, but the Walnut Festival is not being held in its namesake city of Walnut Creek this year.
The Walnut Festival is normally held at Heather Farm Park, but a major remodel there is forcing the festival to move about 20 miles away to Antioch. It's now being held at the Contra Costa County Fairgrounds. It still features carnival rides, live music, local vendors, lots of food. Last night saw a quiet start to the 4-day event. Organizers say they expect things to pick up as we head into the weekend.
Okay, Mr. Oliver.
Wasn't going to be able to accommodate what we need, so we had to, switch gears and find another venue to be able to keep the festival going.
So far, reaction is overall mostly positive. Some of the people at the festival said it was their first time. They were glad to have it in their backyard. Others, though, have mixed feelings.
You go out to Antioch
I would for sure, yeah. It's not that far.
No, I will not go out to Antioch.
Too far?
Yeah, I wish them the best out there, but come back to Walnut Creek.
Depending on how fast the construction goes, the plan is to have the Walnut Festival back at Heather Farm Park next year. Festivities in Antioch pick back up today at 5 p.m. and the festival goes through Sunday.
Well, from helping save their high school music program by reaching out to Carlos Santana and then transitioning from the jazz band to mixing boards and now spinning for the biggest events across the Bay Area and beyond. To mark the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, we introduce you to these San Leandro twin DJs redefining Latin and electronic dance music. Carlos and Beto Concha, their DJ name, OTEP and Soul Rack. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us, man. Excited to be here.
You all are making it big time these days, performing with some major stars. Stevie Aoki, and also you guys performed at Salesforce for the Dreamforce conference. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, that was just, that one was corporate,
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's big. I mean, it brings 40,000 people and it gets your music in front of them. So it's pretty big. Being from the Bay Area and going to these major events, how does it feel right now? First of all, we have Carlos.
Carlos, yeah.
And Beto.
And Beto, yeah.
They're like identical twins, so it's hard to tell. But Carlos, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about, making it to this level of performing these days.
When we first started, we started doing it, for fun and kind of youth programs, keeping us out of trouble growing up and stuff. But now it feels, it feels kind of unreal.
Yeah, I'll bet. And you guys also were on 99.7 Mix for a while, right, Orbita?
Yeah.
So that kind of got your work out there as well, right?
Yeah. No, the radio's been helping out so much, man. Shout out to the 99.7 fam over there. Yeah, man, late night Saturdays.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the music and the music that you perform. We talked a little bit about it's electronic and Latin music together, but talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, so we growing up, we listened to a lot of Latin music. We also like electronic music too. So mixing the two together, we started noticing that more and more people started coming out to the events. Yeah. They're like, oh, we really like what you would play when we would grow up, listening to it in house parties and stuff. So started remixing that, and it kind of just stuck.
It got from there.
Yeah, people started liking the sound. They started coming out and essentially making like a movement.
Yeah, and then when did you guys start getting the national attention from all of your music?
I would say this year has been very good for us. Talent buyers reaching out. It's like, oh, Stevie Aoki was a big one.
Yeah.
That launched us into a lot more exposure for bigger events and stuff. So. it just kind of started snowballing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And how are you dealing with all this new success? And what do you hope to accomplish? I was reading your EPK kit, and you all are hoping for big things in the next year, right?
Yeah, we're planning, we just came back from tour, going from Chico to Fresno, and, we want to keep it going. We want more festivals. We want to keep DJing, keep, anywhere, whether it's Oakland or Miami.
Were you all DJing all your life, or like since you were kids, or how did you get started with all this?
So, well, we would always be like in music programs where there's like playing the trumpet, jazz. Yeah. But once I went to college, got into college radio, that's when we started DJing, started partying,
Start going to the club.
It's fun, it's fun.
Yeah, and then you got your DJ equipment right here. They don't, you were telling me they no longer use the needles. You have everything's electronic. So tell us a bit about your setup here. Then we get to the demo in just a moment. We want to introduce the Bay Area who haven't heard your music yet to listen to it and hear it. So talk to us a little bit about what we have here.
Right here we have 2 Technique turntables with our phase digital needles on top.
Yeah. Digital needles these days.
Yeah.
Regular needles.
Yeah,
wireless.
Yeah, wireless now.
Technology.
And then we have our standard S11 DJ mixer. Anywhere you go.
This is pretty standard. Yeah.
And top of the line club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and you guys, so I want to get to the demo real quick, but are you guys having any performances coming up that you want to let people know about before we get to the demo?
Yeah, of course. You can catch us. We're going to be at Monte Carlo nightclub with Ray Burger on the 30th
October.
And then that's going to be in Mountain View.
Mountain View, okay. Yeah. All right, so you're going to be there October
30th.
October 30th.
And then on Halloween, we'll be at DNA Lounge in San Francisco.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. All right, give us a little demo of the music that you guys have. Let me see what you do here. Yeah. I'm not good at it, so I'll just watch you all from a distance here while you kick it.
Yeah. So most of, all this music is original. We made it ourselves, and we tend to put this into our sets too, kind of so we can stand out, A lot of Latin influence.
Latin influence, Latin music, and you mix it with electronic music.
Yep.
Beautiful sound. Yeah. You're getting a great reaction to it from the public as well, so that's fantastic.
Very happy to actually, receive that that response, especially in the music that we grew up on.
Do you guys scratch also?
Yeah.
You can scratch with the digital needle?
Yeah, you could scratch. Yeah, let me show you. Scratch this. All right.
Carlos Brito, One-Shot, thank you so much for joining us today. Congrats on all your success. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it. So
all right, Sal, over to you.
Look at those Techniques 1200s. Yeah. Love it. Things are picking up out there. Highway 4 looks pretty good. No problem on 680. Let's go right to Contra Costa County. It looks very good. Still a little slowing on 880 northbound. You hate to see it from San Leandro all the way up to Oakland, but 580 is a little better. And the Silicon Valley, not much to speak of this morning. The Bay Bridge commute has become a lot better. 851. Let's bring Mr. Steve Paulson back in here.
Sal, except for a little patch of some low clouds over the Golden Gate in the city, a little bit in San Pablo Bay, we're good to go on sunshine. But there it is. See the gray? That's a little bit of a west-southwest breeze there in the flag. 40s, 50s on the temps now, but most locations are sunny, but there's that little patch of fog. You'll see it right there. It kind of stretches along San Pablo Bay, maybe close. You can see it off Interstate 80, a little bit over towards the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and right back to the city. That's really about it. Over to Berkeley. But we're looking for a warmer few days here. It started a teeny bit yesterday, more so today, and definitely into the weekend looks good, and probably early next week as well. I don't think these high clouds will amount to a hill of beans. Are already falling apart. There is a west-southwest of L.A., a low forming. It looks like that'll impact them on Tuesday, but not for us. Next weekend, though, next Friday, Saturday, could be a big system in here, but not for this weekend. California dreaming weather, only patchy fog, mostly clear, lots of sun, and temperatures bumping up 60s, 70s on the highs, and they'll get near 80 probably tomorrow, you guys.
Thank you so much, Steve. If you thought your takeout bill was bad enough before, brace yourself. When you join us on the 9, why restaurants say the only way to stay afloat is to pass costs straight to you.
Doctors are telling teenagers in particular not to engage in a dangerous stunt that's gaining traction on social media after a Florida teen ended up in the hospital with burns. What's known as the Jam Jar Pulse Jet Challenge on TikTok tells users to pour rubbing alcohol into a jar, put a lid on it, drill a hole through the lid, then ignite the flammable liquid. Authorities are now warning parents as well about the extreme risks associated with this and other viral challenges involving fire.
Just engage with kids and then also find opportunities to highlight the risk with kids, right? The risk of getting burned, the risk of setting the house on fire, so that they understand there's real consequence with these things.
Officials say this incident should serve as a serious reminder about the potentially life-threatening consequences of dangerous stunts performed for social media.
The University of Southern California rejecting the Trump administration's offer for priority federal funding. The proposal would have required USC to adopt certain policies, including creating gender rules for bathrooms and women's sports, taking race and gender out of the admissions process, and limiting international students. The university issued a statement saying the proposal undermines values of free inquiry and academic excellence. The Trump administration offered this deal to 9 universities. So far, none have accepted it.
Today marks 36 years since the Loma Prieta earthquake, what is still one of the worst natural disasters to hit the Bay Area. The magnitude 6.9 earthquake struck on October 17th of 1989, just after 5 p.m. It was centered on the San Andreas Fault in a section of the Santa Cruz Mountains near Loma Prieta Peak. 63 people died. Almost 3,800 more were injured. A section of the upper deck of the Bay Bridge collapsed, as did much of the Cypress Freeway in Oakland. Homes throughout San Francisco's Marina District collapsed and caught fire. Authorities say the death toll from Loma Prieta could have been much higher were it not for the World Series game between the Giants and the A's. San Francisco held its first live test of its emergency firefighting water system. The system was first developed following the 1906 earthquake, which triggered fires that raged for 3 days due to an inadequate water supply system. The city's emergency upgrades consist of 135 miles of high-pressure pipeline from several water sources. 2 Bay Area companies are announcing layoffs. Chevron is cutting 175 jobs, 100 of them at its San Ramon headquarters. Chevron reports the cuts are part of a massive multi-billion-dollar effort to stay competitive. They're set to start next Thursday. Impacted employees will receive severance pay, continued medical coverage, and resources for education and training. You'll remember Chevron laid off 600 people at that campus earlier this year.
Southwest Airlines is unveiling an all-new look. The airline is bringing on new Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes with an updated cabin design. They include new seats, extra legroom, updated power outlets and charging ports, and larger overhead bins, too. This is the latest chapter in a transformation at the Southwest Airlines company as it launched bag fees, added international partnerships, and will begin assigned seating in the new year. A Fremont-based company just bought the Del Taco chain from Jack in the Box. Yadav Enterprises bought more than 550 Del Taco locations for $115 million. The company is already in the fast food game. It owns hundreds of restaurants, including some Jack in the Box, Denny's, TGI Fridays, and Nick the Greek locations. The sale is expected to be finalized early next year. We'll be right back. Mornings on 2 the 9 starts in just 60 seconds.